Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to be going over one change I would make to improve every single MCC game. Let's get right into it. Starting off with a game that the Knockskrew themselves have had a hard time balancing and finding a good spot for. That is the Minecraft Classic survival games. I would like to implement a revival system to encourage more early fighting and chances for teams who have had members die early on to make recoveries. The way it would work is it would go right into the current airdrop system. We would add 3 new health kit airdrops that would revive your teammates in reverse order of death. So the person who died most recently would be the first to respawn, then the second, and so on. You can respawn up to 3 total players, meaning if you had just 1 currently alive, you would respawn 2, and if you had 2 currently alive, you would respawn just 1. These players would respawn with full leather armor and a wooden sword. The crate that they just mined would act as the spawning block. From there, they could continue to play just like normal. At this point, you might be wondering what would happen if a team claimed this crate when they had 3 or 4 players still alive. It would give 2 splash potions of instant health and 2 gapples, hence the health pack crate. To balance around this new feature, we would reduce the amount of coin crates to 3 and change the kills from 65 coins per kill to 70 to make up for the coins lost from the coin crates. I'd be super curious to see what kind of change this new feature would bring to survival games. But honestly, I think there's a chance that this change could bring life to a game that can often feel dull through the first couple of minutes, and maybe give teams who are weaker at PvP a chance to make their mark. Really quickly before we move on, I would like to shout out the Knockskrew who put in so much hard work to bring us these absolutely amazing games, and my suggestions are in no way detracting from the accomplishments of them, and I think there probably is a reason that they are the ones making games and not me. Anyways, staying in the PvP department, let's take a look at Sky Battle. For this game, my suggestion is to tweak the loot pool just a bit to include less arrows and add potions of slow falling. Generally, I feel like the amount of arrows is overwhelming and they can be spammed to the point where PvP isn't too much of a factor till the end, and the potions of slow falling would certainly help just a couple of players escape from the top world border that can often just end games for some teams. You should only be able to find 10 potions of slow falling throughout the map, and they should only last for about 8 seconds because any longer can get kind of annoying. Moving on to our third PvP game, which is Battle Box. My idea follows the same theme of bows feeling a bit overpowered. I would give the leather boots all players have already projectile protection 2. I've whipped up a little in-game demonstration here. With normal, unenchanted boots, the arrows do 4 to 4.5 damage. With projectile protection 2, it changes to 3 to 3.5 hearts, which in my opinion feels a bit more manageable and less like you've been taken out of the game after being hit by just 1 or 2 shots. There is of course natural regen in Battle Box, but in general it doesn't do a whole ton and it's not really a reliable way of gaining health. To round out our PvP games, we'll cover Meltdown, which, after seeing it played just one time, seems to end a bit too anticlimactically. The change I would like to see is to make the final room centered a bit more around the middle platform. We'd make this platform bigger, but still flat, leading to some crazy last-second fighting on this open, exposed platform. Next up is big sales of Build Mart. For Build Mart, one of the things that frustrates me most is the POV I'm watching not be able to find the resource they're looking for. To avoid this happening, I propose an ability for them to right-click a block while still in the base, and it briefly highlights the island that block is on. This could be useful for blocks that are not normally used, such as prismarine or maybe copper. This is a very small change that probably won't help the best Build Mart players, but maybe will give a small boost to some of the players who dislike Build Mart more and maybe help them enjoy the game just a bit more. Moving on to Rocket Spleef Rush. I think the gameplay is currently in a really great spot, but the scoring could definitely use some changes. When taking a look at the current scoring system, we see the top 10 players getting relatively big bonuses, which in and of itself makes perfect sense. But when getting 4th once and 30th twice is better than getting 11th all 3 times, in my opinion that just doesn't seem quite fair. My proposal is to lower all current bonuses by 25 to make room to give players 11th through 15th a 30 coin bonus, and 16th through 20th a 15 coin bonus to make the point distribution a little more fair throughout all 3 rounds. Next up would theoretically be Ace Race, but I legitimately cannot think of a change that makes this game better, gameplay or scoring wise. I sat here for like 15 minutes just staring at the screen, thinking, before finally giving up. But hey, if you could think of something that would positively change this game, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And that goes for every game. I'd love to hear what you guys think. For To Get to the Other Side in WACO Fan, I would like to see a dropper map implemented. I don't know, I think it would be great fun, and I think a certain HBomb94 thinks so too. For Parkour Tag, a change I would love to see is the implementation of slime block patches throughout the map. I think this would add a whole new level to the game, allowing runners another method of escape, and in general would make the map feel more dynamic and diverse. Yes, I'm aware there's been slime before, you can even see it in this clip, but I'm saying that it should be applied to all maps. For Hole in the Wall, I really liked the remix that was added in MCC Pride 22, which allowed dead participants to spawn mobs on the platform. This really added a whole new level of hecticness that really captured the essence of Hole in the Wall. However, to be added to the actual MCC, I think this needs to be toned down a bit and changed in a couple key ways. First off, the spawn eggs should be given out less often, and skeletons should be removed as they are way too RNG based and can be actually super deadly when used correctly. And finally, the spawn egg should stop being given out when only 45 seconds remain in the round. Next up is Grid Runners. Grid Runners has recently had big scoring changes done to it, which has put it in a great spot. And it's another game in which I've struggled to find a positive change. I would, however, like to hear you guys' opinions on making Grid Runners a game that is super hard to fully complete. We maybe make it 10 rooms long instead of 8, and focus the coins more on individual room completion rather than course completion. We're almost done here, and let's talk about Sands of Time. For Sands of Time, the only change I would like to make is to give every player 2 rusty keys at the start of the game. This is to allow them to make it deeper into tunnels right at the very beginning. But this is super nitpicky. Sands of Time is an absolutely amazing game and is truly the epitome of what makes MCC such a great event. And finally, we have Dodgeball, the source of much controversy, but hopefully my change would add a bit more comedy to the game. What I propose is to make death cages when you get hit, similar to Sands of Time, on the walls on the sides of the game where each team sends their players who got hit. I think it would be funny, just add a bit more spice to the game. And that's it, we're done. If you're still here, it would really mean so much to me if you were to subscribe. I'm trying to hit 1,000 by the end of July. Thank you guys.